So I'm Katrina, and I am the Vice President of Membership for the Sporty Speakers Club. And we're going to talk a little bit about membership growth and retention tonight. And I want us just to start off by thinking a little bit about these questions about why we joined. So think about yourself, why did you join Toastmasters and specifically your club? What about Toastmasters and your specific club makes you want to stay involved and to the point where you're listening to webinars online? And then what benefit of Toastmasters could you just talk about for hours if it came up? As you think about it, I'll tell you a couple of my answers. When I first started Sporty Speakers about a year ago, I was amazed by the atmosphere of the club. It was friendly and welcoming, and I was immediately attracted to it. I joined very quickly, and it continued to be a great environment, and it also gave me a place to learn and to grow. And that is the thing that I can talk about forever. I won't, but I am just in love with the fact that Toastmasters gives you a place to not only grow yourself, but also to help others grow as well. And when we're talking about membership and growth and retention, I want you to keep in mind whatever it is about your club and about Toastmasters that really gets you excited and makes you want to be involved. Because whatever it is that you feel, other people are probably feeling that way too, especially the ones that are in your own club and the people that surround you. So if you're able to recognize your club's strengths, then you can mold all the information that we go through today around this idea of your strengths and your benefits as a club in Toastmasters, which will really bring out your passions, and that's really what brings people in and attracts them and becomes a magnet for your club. So as VP of Membership, my role is focusing on retention, and my PowerPoint's restarting, so I will get that going again. My role is to focus on growth and retention. And in my role, I found that it's really easy to get closed-minded about what growth is based on whatever you are focusing on at that time. So I want us to just kind of focus on a certain definition of growth tonight. And that definition is gaining members, growing members, and retaining members. We're going to focus on these three pieces of growth with the idea that they correlate with three types of people that you interact with on a regular basis. And those are your guests, your new members, and your members. Now, let's imagine we just started a new club. When you start a new club, you have your founding members. And everyone's really excited about their club. They want to share about it. They're excited. They're passionate. So they go and they tell everyone they know about how amazing their club is and the work that they're putting into this club. And that gets other people excited, and so they come in as guests. And when they come in as guests, they get to feel that atmosphere where there's still excitement and there's still passion. And so the guests also get really excited, and they decide that they want to join this group. And when they join, they have all the excitement, and they have all this drive to become the best that they can be, but they don't have the knowledge to really get there yet. And that's when they are their new members. And that's when the members go and they start training these new members and teaching them where they can find the resources themselves and how they can do the best in their roles. And eventually, the new members learn enough that they don't need that guidance from the members anymore, and they become experienced members themselves. And as they grow to be experienced members, they're telling more people about the growth that is happening, which brings in more guests, which brings in more new members who become members, and the cycle goes around and around and around. This is what a healthy growth cycle should look like. Not all of our clubs are here. However, the healthy growth cycle begins naturally when we focus our energy in becoming great leaders. If you went to TLI, or Toastmasters Leadership Institute, a couple weeks ago, you heard our keynote speaker and Toastmaster, Thomas Cox, who was just absolutely amazing. And he is super passionate about leadership and told us all about his journey to find the fundamental law of leadership, which he defines as making people safe and making people grow. So we're going to dive deeper into the specific ways that you can make your members safe and make them grow, as well as how to bring these two ideas together and expand upon them so you can kickstart the healthy growth cycle in each of our clubs. So safety is the first part of our fundamental law. And we want to go beyond the idea that safety is just physical and go into the emotional side of safety, or having an inviting environment. If you can think back to your first visit to Toastmasters, how did you feel? When I first visited a Toastmasters club, I arrived less than 5 minutes late, yet I still interrupted a speech. I felt extremely rude and embarrassed. I had no idea what was going on or what any of the terms were, and was called up for table topic speech for the question, what is the meaning of life? I felt so nervous and so uncomfortable, and most of the guests that I meet feel very, very similarly. When you're creating an inviting environment for your guests, you need to remember that they are likely very nervous and very confused. And the best way to combat these feelings is to treat your club like your home. And what I mean by this is that when you have a visitor come to your house, they knock and you open the door for them. You give them a hello with a smile, and you introduce them to any other guests that you may have at the house. You involve them in different conversations, and you do everything you can to make them comfortable and feel at home. And the same way, when you're at your club, you should always send a member to act as a greeter for your guests and your members. Give them a smile, give them a hello. When you begin the meeting, introduce your guests and introduce your new members and celebrate the fact that they are new members now. Get your guests and your members involved, even if it's just asking for feedback at the end of the evening. And explain everything, no matter how obvious it seems. If you're an officer, you have a bit more responsibility, particularly the Vice President of Membership and Vice President of Education. As Vice President of Membership, your main focus and responsibility is to take care of your guests. That means to collect their information, to explain the details of the club, and to follow up on a regular basis, using sincere compliments and challenging them to join the club. As Vice President of Education, your main focus is to grow our members, including the new members. When the VPM has a guest join, it's your job to take over and get them settled. This means to schedule the new member orientation, even if you won't be the one hosting it, assigning their first 3 roles in their first speech, assigning them a mentor, and helping find opportunities for them to stay involved. The last piece to creating an inviting environment is to recognize and celebrate your members' accomplishments. The first accomplishment your members will make is to join. By joining, they have taken the first step on their personal journey to success. And that is something to celebrate. At your new member's first meeting as a member, take time to conduct the new member induction and make this a planned celebratory event to remember, not an afterthought because they showed up tonight. Prepare for your induction by assigning a host or a person who will actually perform the induction. This person should have a copy of the new member induction script found on the Toastmasters website, and they should practice it before the meeting so they are not stumbling over their words. Make sure to include the induction in the schedule. Have a designated time at the beginning or the end of the meeting so your host knows when they are to go to the front and introduce your new members. Designate a member to take photos of the new member induction and then post those pictures on the website and on social media and maybe even send it to your new members. Additionally, you want to print a new member certificate or have some kind of award that you give to everyone that your member can pose with and for the photos and take home to remember the event. And lastly, you should feel free to invite your new members. Let them know that you're doing something special for them and that you'd like them to attend. Another place to really celebrate your members is with award recognition. This is partaking in the educational awards that your members are already earning and working toward. In order for your members to receive an award, they have to submit it online via an officer. So when they send in their requirements, your officer should let them know that the award will be sent to them directly and that they need to bring it into a meeting so that you can present it to them officially in front of the club and really recognize them and the accomplishments that they've achieved. Once again, when that award is ready, you want to prepare before the meeting by finding a host or someone that will present this award to your member and having a scheduled time at the beginning or the end of the meeting. You want a designated photographer, put those photos on social media, put those photos on your website, send the photos out to your award winners. And then take some time after presenting the award or right before presenting the award to talk about the achievement that they have accomplished. Say what it took to get to this point and to get this award, and then regularly talk about the awards. Don't just leave the award talk for the times when people are actually getting the awards. Talk about awards regularly. Talk about the awards you're going for, because we all need to know that they exist and how to get them, and it creates a goal for everyone in your environment. So once we have created an inviting environment and created a place where people can feel safe, we need to work on making our members feel like they can grow, helping them grow to be the best that they can be. And we're going to do this by being very informative and making sure that they truly understand how Toastmasters works and how it can help them succeed. So first off, we have our guests, and we want to orient them when they come into the room. So when they come in, we want to sign them in, and we want to receive all of their information so we can follow up with them and make sure if they have any questions, we can answer it. After we sign them in, we want to give them a guest packet. This is a physical packet that they can keep, they can look through, they can take home, they could throw away if they wanted to, but it gives them something that with a little bit more information, and it gives them the opportunity to kind of answer their own questions. Everybody's guest packets look a little bit different. The way that we do our guest packets is we bind them in some way, shape, or form. We have Toastmaster FAQs that go over the benefits of Toastmasters, important links that they may want to check out, a breakdown of the dues, and the Vice President of Membership's contact info. We have a page that states our mission and values as a club. And then we also include a couple brochures that are found on the Toastmasters website, as well as an up-to-date membership application. Once they have a guest packet, you want to place them in the center of the room. Don't put them on the outside. Ask if the table is full, see if you can squeeze them in somewhere. Don't have them be on the outside. Put them in the middle and seat them next to an experienced member that can answer all of their questions as they come about. Then you want to make sure that they have a copy of the agenda and that either you or the member that you seated them next to explains dues and manuals before the end of the evening. You also want to ask for feedback. I suggest that the Toastmaster or the person that's closing the meeting, your officer that closes the meeting, ask for this at the very end to see how they felt, and it gives them an opportunity to stand up and speak in front of the group, whether or not there was a table topic. And lastly, make sure to reconnect with them at the end, answer any questions they may have, and invite them back for the next meeting. When your guests join, they're going to become your new members. So like we kind of talked about before, we're going to conduct the new member induction as soon as possible. Ideally the first meeting that they're going to as members. And then we're going to want to give our new members a new member packet. This is not something that most clubs have. We put one together that once again is bound in some way, shape, or form, and it has important links that they may want to check out, basic club info, the next steps of membership, and then the Vice President of Education's contact info. We also include a packet that has role explanations, some how-tos and scripts, and we also put the icebreaker speech in case their manuals take a while to get to them, as well as an education award requirement map that just goes over all the possible awards and how you get each of those awards. Another thing you want to do as soon as possible is assign them a mentor so that they have somebody that they feel comfortable going to for questions. You also want to make sure that you schedule and conduct the new member orientation. Once again, everybody does new member orientation a little bit differently. At our club, we do the new member orientation for 1 hour after our meeting on the first Thursday of the month. We switch up which officer does the new member orientation throughout the year so that nobody feels like it's solely their responsibility. In the new member orientation for this hour, what it's going to look like is doing a get-to-know-you activity. Even if it's something simple like, what's your name, why did you join Toastmasters, what's your goals for this year. Show the website navigation if you can. If you have the ability to bring your computer, hook it up to a screen, or one-on-one show them how to navigate the website, it will help immensely. And you can also instill the idea that they need to check the agendas once a week, which should help with their involvement. You want to take some time to describe the manuals and the roles. You want to take time to explain the award track and also the involvement opportunities, such as the different officer roles and how you get into those roles. It's a good idea to also go over their goals, and if you can, collect those goals or take a picture of them so that you always know how you can help them And you can also send that to their mentor. And lastly, before you wrap up, talk about the next steps, answer their questions, and make sure that they know what they need to do and what roles they will fulfill in the next coming month. Which, when you're there, you might as well schedule their first 3 roles as well as their first speech. Let them know that you're scheduling at this time for them. However, in the future, they are going to be responsible for checking the agenda and scheduling and signing out themselves. You just want to get them on the right track and make sure that not all the roles are taken when they first start and they're excited about being a part of the group. So now that we have created a safe environment by being very inviting, and we have helped our members grow by giving them the information that they need, we need to expand upon these 2 different ideas to really become a leader. We want to make our club valuable and powerful for our guests and members. Toastmasters is a tool that empowers us to become the best versions of ourselves. It helps us become better leaders and better communicators, and it at the same time helps us shape our members into being great leaders and great communicators. When you understand how to make your guests and your members safe and grow, and the fact that you have such a powerful tool at your fingertips, that's how you become influential. A couple things to do very technically to help you be influential is to follow up with your guests and your members and your new members. And we're going to go in order of guests, new members, and then members. So when you have a guest come into your group, you want to send them a thank you email. You want to send them something individual and very personal for that person so they know that they are important. There is an old saying, I don't know where it's from, but I've heard it a million times, you probably have too, that every person wears a sign. And that sign always says the same thing. Make me feel important. These emails that you send or follow-ups that you send to the guests is a place for you to help that person understand that they are important and they have the ability to become a great communicator and a great leader and have support along the way. The emails I'm going to show you are emails that I have sent myself, and these people have joined our club. So the first couple are when you have time to actually connect with that guest during the night. Here's a couple of them. Hello, Susie. Thank you for coming last night. It was great having time to connect with you. I love how courageous you were and your natural ability to speak in front of the group. Your table topic speech was amazing, filled with so much wisdom. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. Hope to see you at another meeting soon. Another email I sent where I had time to connect with somebody. Hello, Bob. It was fantastic getting to see you again last night. Thank you so much for your feedback. We are always excited to hear about what we do well and where we can improve. It truly meant so much when you said that you had expected to learn about public speaking and after coming found our club to be so much more. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask and don't be a stranger. Now there's other times when you have guests come in and you do not have time to connect with these people. And so I do a little bit different email, but you still want to say thank you. You still want to invite them to come back. Here's another email that I sent recently, and this person has reached out and is planning to join the club this upcoming week. This, hello Sarah, thank you so much for visiting our club last night. I wanted to apologize as we didn't get any time to truly connect. I hope you will come back soon so we can remedy that. I hope you found our club welcoming and a great place to learn. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you again. All of these are personal, they're individual, they're short, they're to the point, and they don't get around the fact that this one, I didn't have time to connect with her. I felt bad about it, and so I just addressed that straight on and let her know that I'm not going to let that happen again. Another thing that I do with our guests is that a one thank you email is never going to go the distance. When you're following up, you need to follow up on a regular basis because they'll probably remember you the day after they come, but they probably will not remember you 2 months from now, and they never have heard from you again. Every week, I take the Toastmasters theme and their little blurb about their theme that they send out in an email to the club, and I put it into an email like this to all of our guests. And it just goes really simply, hello, it was great to meet you at our club last week. I wanted to extend a formal invitation for you to join us again this week. There is no obligation or pressure to sign up should you decide to come, just a lot of fun. And of course, you are more than welcome to come another week as well. Our theme for this week is Breakthrough to Excellence. Our Toastmaster, Tony Toastmaster, will be leading us through an evening focused on ways to break through our barriers to reach our true potential of excellence. As a reminder, our meetings take place at this time, in this room, on this floor of this location. We suggest you try to come at least 5 minutes early to get settled in before the meeting starts. We hope to see you again. Please do not hesitate to reach out should you have any questions. My cell is this. Have a great week. My name, and then just a quick PS, feel free to check out our site for materials and information about our club with our website. Something really simple, it reminds them when we take place, where we're located. You don't have to put your cell. I do. I never get any calls on it. But I always put it out there so people know that I'm accessible. And then something to get them excited about this week. You're not just inviting them, you're telling them why this week is going to be beneficial to them. So another thing you want to do is that we're going to switch gears into our new members. And with new members, you want to make sure that they always have somebody to go to. And that is going to be focused around mentorship. When you're choosing a mentor, you want to choose very wisely. Don't just choose anybody. Make sure that that person really is going to take care of your new member. Your new member is going to feel worse if they have a mentor who doesn't care enough to talk to them than if they didn't have a mentor at all. So make sure that when you're assigning a mentor, that that person is taking mentorship seriously. Ask the new member if they have anybody in mind. Sometimes the members have already connected with somebody when they were guests, or they may have already talked about mentorship with someone at the group. So ask them if they have anyone that they would specifically like you to go and reach out to. When you assign the mentor, go over the responsibilities with them, including how often they should be following up with their mentee, which in my opinion is once a week at the very least. And then lastly, you want to follow up with your mentors and your mentees probably within once a month at least, just to make sure that everything is going well. They're only going to have this mentor for the first 3 speeches, but depending on the size of your club, That could be quite a few months. It also could just be a few weeks. So you just want to make sure that your mentor and your mentee really are doing well together and feel like this was a good match. And lastly, we have our experienced members. Experienced members are people we want to retain. We want to make sure that they still understand the value of Toastmasters. And a lot of times when we are thinking about growth, we kind of forget about retention. I know that there are a lot of members in our club who actually have much more experience than I do. And you want to make sure that you're reconnecting those people that may have been in the club for 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. Reconnect them with their goals. Remind them why Toastmasters matters. Ask them for feedback by the club because they probably know more than you do. They probably have suggestions for things that you may never have thought about. I try and make sure that I have spoken with every member for at least one time in the last 2 months. We have lots of members, and that can be a feat sometimes. But if I shoot for once every 2 months, people know that they haven't been forgotten. That can count if I get to connect with them at a meeting, if I call them, if I email them. I'm pretty loose with what speaking with members means, but you just want them to know that they're important. You haven't forgotten about them, and you want to help them towards their goals as well. As a quick story with experienced members, when we first started doing the officers' roles this year, we had a whole new set of officers, and we had a really simple request from some of our experienced members who wanted a monthly schedule sent out. And nobody did it, and they kept asking for it, and they kept asking for it. And so finally, I put together this schedule that was really easy to fill in, and I started just sending it out to our group once a month. We saw so many more of our experienced members and our current members coming back. People that we hadn't seen for 4 to 6 months were suddenly showing up because they knew when they were on the schedule, and they didn't have time to go searching through all of the agendas to find out if they were there. So listening to the feedback of your experienced members, it can be really simple, and you just want to act on it. Let them know that you are excited about their feedback, that you're looking to grow, that you're looking to take it into consideration and work on a system to make it happen. And then you'll have your experienced members coming in more. They'll feel like they are making contribution to the group. And then when you have experienced members, they're there to shed their wisdom and their skills and show everyone what they are working toward. A really great way to excite your members about getting involved is to be an example. Create opportunities for yourself. Create opportunities for others. When you take the initiative to get more involved, you are learning something new, and you can impart that to someone else. Becoming an officer isn't so scary when someone tells you how much responsibility there is, what being an officer means, what the different roles are. So when you do things like becoming an officer, mentoring, going to educational events like TLI, which I'm going to stop on for a second because you learn things that you never would have learned when you go to events that involve everyone. That's how I learned about being an area director or a district president like Leanna. I didn't know that these things existed until I became an officer and I was told to go to this leadership conference. If you go to these educational events, you'll learn something that you didn't know before, and another way to get involved, and another way to improve your club. Read the Voices magazine. See what's going on in Toastmasters and what people have to say and the advice that they give. Listen to these different webinars so that you can learn from people who have done this stuff before and succeeded from it. You can start or participate in a high-performance leadership committee. That is a manual that you get online. And making a committee, so let's say as a vice president of membership, I can't greet everybody that comes in the door. So I make a committee where I have other people who greet people who come in the door, and we switch off on who is important for that night and who is going to focus on the guests and who's going to focus on the new members and who is going to do which kind of role. And the great thing about that is that the HPL Guidance Committee is actually part of the Competent Leadership Manual, and just participating as a committee member signs off on one of your projects. And lastly, work towards getting your DTM. DTMs take 4 years to get if you're really passionate about getting them. It's only going to make you better. It's only going to look better on a resume or give you more confidence. It's going to put you in front of people more often, and it's going to make you a better leader. If you are seeing issues in your club and you're just not really sure where to go with that, take a moment for yourself and for your officers to use the Moments of Truth worksheet. Diagnose your club by rating every piece of your club. It's 4 pages long. It gives you ideas to brainstorm. And then you can go back to your members and say, these are the things that we're thinking about doing. What do you think? What do you want to see? How can we make this a better club? And as you are growing, make sure to remember that thing that makes you very passionate. Remember, we talked about that one thing that you could talk about for hours. Share it with everyone. Toastmasters is an amazing program. It helps people become the best that they can be. You can't be a worse person by becoming a Toastmaster. You only have opportunities to grow. You only have opportunities to become the best that you can be, to see a community, to be part of something bigger, and have opportunities you probably wouldn't be able to have in the workplace or at home or wherever you're at. As 40 speakers, we aren't secret. We are passionate about our club, about our members, and about Toastmasters as a whole. We consistently maintain 30+ members from term to term, and we don't have to worry about membership. I'm telling you this as a challenge to you in your club. Stop worrying about membership and get on the healthy growth cycle by becoming better leaders. Make your members safe by being inviting. Make them grow by being informative, and expand upon these 2 ideas to become truly influential, creating a magnet for your club. Thank you, guys. Let's move on to questions.